Will 2024 be the worst year in American history? According to various surveys, for the first time since the 1970s, more Americans think that the next 5 years will be worse than the previous 5. Alarmingly, almost 20% say that the next year will be the worst on record in the United States. This is a significant statement, considering we just went through a pandemic. Surprisingly, 65% of all Americans believe the entire world is getting worse, while just under 11% feel it's improving. While I have no data on the medication levels of these individuals, it's noteworthy that 10% of Americans are considered to be heavily medicated. In today's video, we list 20 negative things that various experts and studies predict will happen next year. Like all predictions, these are opinions based on known facts and observed trends, so they are essentially educated guesses. This may not be the most accurate way to approach a video, but it is interesting in my opinion. If even a quarter of these predictions come true, we're in for a serious situation. Let me know in the comments section which prediction you think will happen next year, or choose a few if you prefer. Get it, got it, good. Number 20. Economic recession. In 2024, the specter of an economic recession looms as a major concern, primarily driven by the lingering aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, rising inflation, and geopolitical tensions. A recession, characterized by a significant downturn in economic activities like spending and investment, could result from various interconnected factors. These include the global economy's struggle to rebound post-pandemic, inflation, leading to higher living costs and reduced consumer purchasing power, and geopolitical conflicts disrupting trade and supply chains. Additionally, overheated housing markets and high levels of public and private debt might constrain economic growth and government spending. Such a recession could profoundly impact industries, including travel and tourism, as consumer confidence dwindles and discretionary spending decreases. This paints a challenging picture for 2024, highlighting the need for robust economic strategies and resilience planning. Number 19. Disaster homeless. In 2024, the increasing incidence of natural disasters exacerbated by climate change could lead to a significant rise in disaster homelessness. This phenomenon occurs when individuals and families lose their homes due to catastrophic events like hurricanes, floods, wildfires, or earthquakes. The escalation of such disasters not only destroys physical infrastructure, but also disrupts lives, leading to long-term displacement and housing insecurity. This situation is further compounded by urban overpopulation and inadequate disaster preparedness in many regions. The resulting homelessness poses not only a humanitarian crisis, but also impacts local economies, including the travel industry, as affected areas struggle to rebuild and recover. This highlights the pressing need for enhanced disaster response strategies and resilient urban planning to mitigate the impact of such calamities. Number 18. Public health crisis. Point 18 highlights the looming threat of a public health crisis in 2024. This crisis could stem from the emergence of new infectious diseases or the resurgence of existing ones, exacerbated by factors such as climate change, global travel, and urbanization. The potential public health crisis poses serious challenges, including overwhelmed healthcare systems, economic disruptions, and travel restrictions. Such a scenario could significantly impact global mobility, with countries imposing travel bans or quarantine measures to contain outbreaks. Additionally, public fear and uncertainty during a health crisis can lead to decreased travel demand, affecting the tourism industry worldwide. This underscores the importance of robust healthcare infrastructure, international cooperation in disease surveillance, and effective crisis management strategies to prevent and mitigate the effects of public health emergencies. Number 17. Climate change. For point 17, we delve into the pervasive issue of climate change, a defining challenge of our era with escalating impacts projected for 2024. Climate change manifests through extreme weather patterns such as more intense and frequent heat waves, hurricanes, floods, and droughts, drastically altering the natural environment. These changes not only pose a threat to biodiversity and ecosystems, but also have profound socio-economic repercussions. Specifically, in the context of travel and tourism, climate change can lead to the loss of popular destinations due to rising sea levels or environmental degradation, disrupt travel plans with unpredictable weather events, and necessitate significant changes in the industry's operational models to become more sustainable. For more insightful content on pressing global issues and solutions, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Stay informed, stay engaged, and join us in navigating the complexities of our world. Number 16, political instability. Turning our attention to point 16, we examine the critical issue of political instability, a factor set to significantly influence global dynamics in 2024. This instability, stemming from various sources such as governmental upheaval, social unrest, or economic turbulence, creates unpredictable and often risky environments. Such conditions not only pose direct safety risks, but also disrupt essential travel infrastructures and deter tourism, profoundly impacting the travel sector. The ripple effects of political instability extend to economic volatility, affecting local currencies and investment environments. For those in the travel industry and tourists alike, navigating this landscape requires increased vigilance, adaptability, and a well-informed perspective, underscoring the importance of staying abreast of global political developments. Number 15, cyber attacks. As we move to point 15, we confront the escalating threat of cyber attacks in the year 2024, a concern that transcends geographical boundaries and industries. In an era where digital connectivity is paramount, cyber attacks pose a significant risk to personal, corporate, and national security. These attacks can take various forms, from data breaches and ransomware to large-scale disruptions of critical infrastructure. For the travel industry, this means the potential compromise of sensitive customer data, disruption in booking and operational systems, and a subsequent loss of consumer trust. The threat of cyber attacks also extends to national infrastructure like air traffic control systems, which, if targeted, could result in widespread travel chaos. Number 14, global conflicts. Point 14 brings us to the critical issue of global conflicts and their implications for 2024. The escalation of tensions and conflicts between nations can have far-reaching consequences, extending beyond their immediate geographical locations. Such conflicts often result in political and economic instability, impacting global trade, supply chains, and international relations. For the travel industry, this means potential disruptions in certain regions with risks of flight cancellations, travel advisories, and a general decline in tourism to conflict-affected areas. Moreover, global conflicts can lead to humanitarian crises, with increased numbers of refugees and displaced persons. The interconnected nature of today's world means that even localized conflicts can have ripple effects globally, affecting various sectors, including travel, trade, and diplomacy. This underscores the need for vigilance and adaptability in travel planning and operations amidst a landscape that can change rapidly due to geopolitical tensions. Number 13, terrorism. For point number 13, focusing on terrorism in 2024, one could reason that increasing ideological divides and geopolitical unrest may fuel terrorism globally. As extremist groups exploit political turmoil and social discord, incidents of terrorism could rise, posing threats to public safety and global security. This rise may lead to stricter security measures impacting international travel and trade. Additionally, terrorism can disrupt economies and exacerbate political tensions, affecting both local and global communities. The potential increase in terrorism underscores the need for vigilant security policies and international cooperation to effectively combat these threats. Number 12, environmental degradation, biodiversity. For point number 12 on environmental degradation and biodiversity loss in 2024, the primary reason is the continued strain on natural ecosystems due to human activities. This includes deforestation, pollution, climate change, and over-exploitation of resources, leading to a significant decline in biodiversity. The loss of diverse species disrupts ecological balance, affecting everything from agriculture to disease control. Additionally, the degradation of natural habitats impacts tourism, especially in areas known for their natural beauty and wildlife. This situation calls for urgent global efforts in conservation and sustainable practices to preserve biodiversity and ecosystem health. Number 11, migration pressures. For point number 11, migration pressures in 2024, the increase can be attributed to factors like climate change, economic disparities, and political conflicts. Climate change, particularly, is causing environmental challenges such as droughts, floods, and hurricanes, forcing people to leave their homes in search of safer or more livable conditions. Economic challenges and political instability in various regions also drive people to migrate in search of better opportunities and safety. This surge in migration can strain resources in host countries, leading to social and political tensions and requiring comprehensive international strategies to manage these pressures effectively. Number 10, technology disruptions. In 2024, technology disruptions are anticipated to play a pivotal role in shaping it as the worst year ever. These disruptions aren't merely about technological failures or glitches, they symbolize a more profound shift in how technology influences our daily lives, economies, and security. One of the primary concerns is the rapid advancement in AI and automation, leading to significant job displacements across various sectors. The labor market is unprepared for such a swift transition, potentially leading to high unemployment rates and economic instability. Moreover, the increasing prevalence of cyber attacks and data breaches poses a serious threat to personal and national security. As we become more reliant on digital infrastructure, the potential damage from these attacks grows exponentially, risking widespread chaos and distrust in technology. Another aspect is the ethical and societal implications of emerging technologies like deepfakes, surveillance systems, and biometric data usage. These technologies, while innovative, could lead to invasions of privacy, misinformation campaigns, and increased authoritarian control, further exacerbating societal divisions. Number 9, geopolitical shifts. The year 2024 is poised to witness significant geopolitical shifts, contributing to its characterization as the worst year ever. These shifts represent more than just changes in political alliances or leadership. They signal a deep transformation in the global balance of power, which could lead to increased instability and conflict. One of the major factors driving these shifts is the changing dynamics of global superpowers. The rising influence of emerging economies, particularly in Asia, is expected to challenge the traditional dominance of Western powers. This realignment may lead to a more multipolar world where power is more diffusely distributed, but it also raises the risk of conflicts as countries jostle for influence and resources. Another critical aspect is the resurgence of nationalism and protectionism. Countries are increasingly looking inward, prioritizing their own interests over global cooperation. This trend could undermine international institutions and agreements, leading to a fragmentation of the global community and a potential escalation in trade wars which could have far-reaching economic consequences. Number 8. Economic inequality. In 2024, economic inequality is projected to reach new heights, significantly contributing to its reputation as the worst year ever. This inequality goes beyond the simple disparity in income and wealth. It encapsulates a broader divide in opportunities, healthcare, education, and quality of life between the rich and the poor. One of the primary drivers of this growing inequality is the uneven impact of technological advancements and globalization. While these forces have created immense wealth for some, they have also led to job losses and reduced wages in certain sectors, particularly among the middle and lower classes. The rapid pace of automation and digitalization is likely to exacerbate this trend as high-skilled workers benefit disproportionately compared to those with lower skills. The situation is further aggravated by the inadequate response of policy frameworks. Tax systems and social safety nets in many countries have not evolved sufficiently to address these disparities, allowing the wealthy to accumulate more resources while the economically disadvantaged struggle to meet basic needs. Moreover, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a lingering impact on the global economy, deepening pre-existing inequalities. Those in lower income brackets and marginalized communities have suffered the most, both in terms of health outcomes and economic stability. Another concerning aspect is the growing gap in access to quality education and healthcare, which are foundational for social mobility. With reduced access to these essential services, the cycle of poverty is likely to perpetuate, creating a deeply divided society. Number 7. Food and water scarcity shortages. The year 2024 is anticipated to be critically impacted by severe food and water scarcity shortages, a factor significantly contributing to its negative characterization. These shortages represent a complex intersection of environmental, economic, and social issues affecting millions of people worldwide. A primary cause of this scarcity is climate change, which is drastically altering weather patterns. Extreme weather events like droughts, floods, and unpredictable rainfall are becoming more common, severely impacting agricultural productivity. This situation is particularly dire in regions that are heavily dependent on agriculture for their livelihoods and food supply. The reduced crop yields due to these adverse weather conditions are expected to lead to food shortages and increased prices, making basic sustenance unaffordable for many. Water scarcity is another critical aspect of this challenge. With the growing population and industrial demands, freshwater resources are being depleted at an alarming rate. Pollution and mismanagement of water resources further exacerbate the situation, leading to a situation where clean, accessible water is becoming a luxury for many communities. This scarcity not only affects drinking water supplies, but also has a ripple effect on agriculture and industry, further contributing to food shortages. Additionally, geopolitical factors play a role in these shortages. In regions where water resources are shared across borders, tensions and conflicts over water rights and usage are likely to intensify, adding a political dimension to the crisis. The impact of food and water scarcity is profound, leading to increased malnutrition, health problems, and even mortality, especially among vulnerable populations. It also has the potential to trigger mass migrations as people move in search of more hospitable conditions, leading to social and political tensions in the regions they migrate to. Number 6. Energy crisis. The energy crisis projected for 2024 is set to be a major contributor to the year's challenges, marking it as potentially the worst year ever. This crisis is multifaceted, stemming from a combination of environmental, geopolitical, and technological factors. Firstly, the ongoing transition to renewable energy sources, while necessary for environmental sustainability, is not without its difficulties. Many countries are struggling to shift away from fossil fuels at a pace that meets global climate goals. This slow transition is compounded by the challenges in scaling up renewable energy infrastructure, such as solar and wind power, which are not yet able to fully meet the global energy demand. Additionally, geopolitical tensions play a significant role in the energy crisis. Many regions of the world are heavily dependent on imported oil and gas, making them vulnerable to fluctuations in supply and price. Political instability in key oil-producing regions can lead to supply disruptions, driving up energy prices worldwide. This situation is exacerbated by trade conflicts and sanctions, which further restrict the flow of energy resources. Another critical aspect is the increasing demand for energy globally, driven by population growth and industrial development. This growing demand is outpacing the rate at which sustainable energy sources are being developed and deployed, leading to a gap in energy supply. The impact of the energy crisis is far-reaching. High energy prices can lead to increased costs for transportation, heating, and electricity, disproportionately affecting the lower-income population. It can also hinder economic growth as businesses face higher operating costs. In extreme cases, energy shortages can lead to blackouts and energy rationing, affecting daily life and industry operations. Number 5. Mental health crisis. The year 2024 is expected to be profoundly affected by a widespread mental health crisis, a key factor in its characterization as one of the most challenging years. This crisis is a culmination of various social, economic, and environmental stressors that have been building up over the years. One significant driver of this crisis is the lingering psychological impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has caused widespread grief, anxiety, and trauma, with long-term effects on mental well-being. Social isolation, loss of loved ones, fear of the virus, and economic uncertainty have contributed to a surge in mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Furthermore, the rapid pace of technological change and the ubiquity of social media are also contributing to the mental health crisis. Constant connectivity and the pressure to maintain an online presence can lead to issues like cyberbullying, social anxiety, and a distorted sense of self-worth, especially among younger populations. Economic stressors, particularly rising unemployment and financial instability due to the evolving global economy, are exacerbating mental health problems. Economic hardship is closely linked to increased rates of depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders. Another critical aspect is the accessibility and stigma associated with mental health care. In many regions, there is a lack of adequate mental health services, and where services are available, they are often underfunded or inaccessible due to high costs or social stigma. This situation leaves many individuals without the support they need. The mental health crisis is also intertwined with other societal issues like substance abuse, homelessness, and domestic violence, creating a complex web of challenges that are difficult to address. Number 4. Educational challenges. Disruption. For point number 4, educational challenges and disruption. In 2024, the reasons are multifaceted. The shift to digital and remote learning methods, hastened by the COVID-19 pandemic, has highlighted and sometimes exacerbated educational inequalities. Issues such as access to reliable internet and learning devices affect students unequally, creating a digital divide. Additionally, the evolving job market requires new skills, prompting a re-evaluation of traditional curricula. Mental health concerns, especially among younger students, have risen, impacting learning outcomes. Schools and educational systems face the challenge of integrating technology effectively while ensuring equitable access and adapting to the rapidly changing demands of the modern workforce. This situation calls for innovative solutions, policy reform, and significant investment in educational infrastructure. Number 3, mass disinformation campaigns. For point number 3, mass disinformation campaigns. In 2024, the issue is deeply rooted in the digital age's landscape. The proliferation of social media and digital platforms has made it easier to spread misinformation at an unprecedented scale. Sophisticated techniques like deepfakes, AI-generated texts, and targeted algorithms are employed to create and disseminate false information. This misinformation can sway public opinion, interfere with democratic processes, and deepen societal divisions. The challenge lies in discerning truth from falsehood in a rapidly circulating information environment. Addressing this requires a multi-pronged approach, including enhancing digital literacy, implementing stringent regulations on online content, and fostering collaboration between governments, tech companies, and civil society organizations to detect and mitigate the impact of disinformation campaigns. Number 2, pandemic variants. In 2024, the emergence of new pandemic variants could signify a broader and more complex challenge than just the continuation of COVID-19. This concern reflects a growing realization in the global health community that we are entering an era of heightened vulnerability to infectious diseases due to a variety of factors. One such factor is the increasing encroachment of human activities into natural habitats. This encroachment heightens the risk of zoonotic diseases, infections that jump from animals to humans, as was the case with COVID-19. The destruction of natural habitats also disrupts ecosystems, potentially unleashing pathogens that were previously contained. Another issue is global interconnectedness. The ease and frequency of international travel allow infectious diseases to spread rapidly across continents. New variants of a virus, even if they emerge in a remote part of the world, can quickly become a global problem. Climate change plays a significant role as well. Altered climate patterns can expand the habitats of disease-carrying vectors like mosquitoes, leading to the spread of diseases such as malaria, dengue, and Zika to new regions. Higher temperatures and extreme weather events can also impact human immunity and the distribution of pathogens. Moreover, the growing resistance to antibiotics and other antimicrobial drugs is a looming crisis. This resistance could lead to a situation where even common infections become difficult or impossible to treat, potentially leading to higher mortality rates. Number 1, societal polarization. Heading into 2024, societal polarization is expected to be a predominant and deeply concerning issue, significantly contributing to the year's turbulent outlook. This polarization extends beyond mere differences in opinions. It represents a fundamental and often bitter division within societies on a range of issues, from politics and ideology to culture and values. The roots of this polarization are multifaceted. The rise of digital and social media plays a crucial role, as these platforms often create echo chambers where individuals are exposed primarily to viewpoints similar to their own. This reinforcement of beliefs can deepen divisions and reduce the opportunities for meaningful dialogue between differing groups. Political factors are also central to increasing societal polarization. Populist movements and leaders have gained prominence in many parts of the world, often employing divisive rhetoric and policies that exacerbate tensions between different social, ethnic, and economic groups. This political climate fosters an us versus them mentality, weakening the social fabric and undermining democratic norms. Another contributing factor is economic inequality. As the gap between the wealthy and the poor continues to widen, it fuels resentment and a sense of injustice, leading to social unrest and further dividing communities. Moreover, cultural and demographic changes are also driving polarization. Rapid shifts in societal norms and values can lead to a backlash from groups who feel threatened by these changes, resulting in increased intolerance and social conflict. The impact of societal polarization is profound and far-reaching. It hampers the ability to address key challenges like climate change, public health crises, and economic recovery, as consensus and cooperation become increasingly difficult. It also leads to the erosion of social trust and an increase in conflict, both verbal and physical, within societies. In summary, societal polarization in 2024 is expected to be a critical barrier to collective progress and stability. It poses a significant threat to social cohesion and democratic values, making it a paramount concern in the multitude of challenges facing the year.